What's up, everybody? I'm making this video today to briefly talk about if it is possible to remove defaulted credit card debt from your credit report. Now, I know this has been a real big topic of conversation for a lot of people. I've received a lot of questions about it, so I wanted to dive a little bit into the thought processes and how it really comes out to be. Now, just to begin, when you have defaulted credit card debt on your credit report, it's important to understand that one, that credit card debt needs to be settled at some point in time in your lifetime. The reason I say that is because so many people may reach out and ask and say, hey, Dejan, I have X amount of money in derogatory status with credit card companies. Can you hide this from showing on my credit report? The real answer to that is it really depends on the situation and what really happened with the account. I think for most people, the major problem is the account is in derogatory status or just charged off in general. For some, there has been like little minor issues where I was able to remove credit cards in general, and that was just simply due to the advanced method of disputing. For example, just comparing your credit reports and just looking for things that may not match or add up just to be challenged. But in actuality, and in most cases, I like to tell people if you have defaulted credit card debt, it's about a 90% chance that you're going to have to settle that debt. About 10% of cases, again, at least for the ones that I've worked on, have had just errors outside of that where it got removed just because I saw something that may not have made sense. So essentially, you're going to have to settle. So let me give you guys some insight of some things that you should do when you get in these situations. And it's pretty much the same if you have a car repossession as well. So if you have a credit card and it's in derogatory status or charged off, you need to settle. Now, one of the first things that you need to ask the person that you're settling with is how much can you pay to get this account in paid in full status? A lot of people may say things like, well, I may not have a lot of money. And having a lot of money is definitely understandable if you cannot settle the account for paid in full. Now, like I said before, you can still ask these people to settle your account and still get paid in full status. It's just a matter of asking and knowing how to maneuver the situation. Because if you let things go the wrong way or let the agent or whoever you're talking to get away with the conversation, they'll end up walking you into a situation where you're paying more than you should and you can still get paid in full status. That's the number one goal. As a last resort, if you cannot afford to settle in full on your credit type of account, look, you may have to settle for less, and that's okay. Just don't make it a habit to settle every bad debt that you have for less than what you typically owe, because then it looks bad when creditors pull your report. Now, it's okay to have a couple of them, but just keep in mind that it's not necessarily a good look if you make it a habit. So that leads me into my next point. If you really have credit card debt, you need to be striving to at least get more than 50% off of what you truly owe. And that's also adding into the conversation if you can get paid in full status as well. You would be surprised at the number of institutions that will actually grant you that request if you're able to work with them. So let me give you some tips. If you're going to call an agency or a credit card company and try to settle these debts, make sure that you have cash on hand if possible, because let me tell you this, if you have cash on hand, they'll be able to negotiate with you a lot easier than someone that's just coming in and saying, hey, I owe $5,000. Can you settle for this amount? And then they're going to start asking you questions like, okay, how much can you pay today? What type of payment plans are you able to go on? How much can you pay every month? Look, if you have the money on hand and you're ready to settle today, I'm quick to tell somebody, make sure to say, hey, if I settle today, can you give me paid in full status? They will give you paid in full status if you have that money up front ready to go, because I've done it multiple times. So don't get tricked by these agencies or by these creditors to settle for paid in full if you don't really have to pay in full. Settle for less to get that paid in full status if you need to. I can't stress that enough. So next time you call somebody or you have debts that's in derogatory status, try to settle it that way. Also, there is a new law where you cannot actually remove late payments from your credit report unless it was truly an error by the creditor itself. So there's no more missing late payments by accident and then them going back and removing them. A lot of banking institutions are definitely keeping them on there now. So the best thing that you can do is go current, and then dispute to see if there's anything that could possibly happen from there. You can't just go late and get removals anymore, because now they're taking the FCRA a lot more serious. So you have to be real serious about getting your credit in line, especially when it comes down to making those payments on time. So, like I said before, if you're in derogatory status, settle the accounts. Try to aim for more than 50%. If you can't get what you want, ask for a supervisor. A lot of them will help. And even if you need to, ask if you need to talk to the supervisor. I've done it before and I've got a lot of success doing it. So just make sure you're asking the right questions, make sure you keep the right amount of cash on hand, and make sure you're ready to negotiate and not just throw out random numbers at these guys. Because like I said, if you're speaking to a financial institution, you're going to have to settle at some point, or they're going to come for garnishment, or they're just going to come to you and try to get all the money that you put in that particular account that you may have with them, or they're just going to take you to court and sue you for everything that you have. And that's just the worst case scenario and things that they really do. So definitely appreciate everyone watching this video today, and I look forward to giving you guys more content. Stay blessed.